Hey guys, welcome to another episode from Stacy Here We Grow Again. Today I'm super excited to go over succulent care, how to take care of your succulents. No matter what you might be growing, no matter what kind, whether they have powder on them or not, whether they're small, big, just starting out propagating. We're just propagating these little guys. These are black knights. Starting to grow babies on them, and these have been sitting on the counter for a week now without any soil or water, just straight on the counter without anything. And now since they got babies and starting to show a little bit of roots on them, we're going to put them in some soil and then we can water in a few days. So I just want to go over the watering for all these different types of succulents. We just watered the soil all the way through, so it's been a few weeks since we watered, and this one was starting to get a little deflated in the leaves, so I wanted to water it, and you can see it's really plump now. So we're not going to have to water for a few weeks, and if we do, we can really encourage that rot to set in. These little echeverias right here, I forget the name, Fantastica, I think, Echeveria Fantastica, they are so susceptible to rot, and there's a little water bead. Since I just watered, I'm so glad that's in there. Those little water beads in the middle you want to get rid of, so just blow it out with your lips, or a little squirt bottle empty. You can just squirt some air on there, like what I have right here. These little bottles work really good once they're emptied, so I'm gonna just empty this little fella out in here, show you guys what I mean. You can I love these little watering things from the dollar store. So say there was water in there, you can just blow it out with your little nozzle. See that? It just blows the water right out of the middle for you. Make sure there's no water in there, obviously, but yeah, you can just blow that water out. Make sure that water doesn't sit in there, because what can happen is if that water tends to sit in the middle of your succulent for a few days, you can cause overwatering. So I like to water my succulents usually from the bottom, but in the desert, it rains from the top and they're not covered with anything. So it is natural for them to get water beaded in the top. Just make sure it's out of there. If it's not dry within a few days, take it out, dry it out, whatever you gotta do. Now I wanna go over just some tips in watering, sunlight, and just taking care of your succulents in general, because I know it can be really tough sometimes, especially during different stages. So we have a bunch of different things going on here. This is my first stage. So we're gonna go over propagating first. These are little leaves we took off of our succulents. And succulents, if you guys are new to them, they grow little babies out of the ends with little leaves. Now this one is rotted, and I wanted to show you this because we stuck it in water right away. Do you see how translucent this is getting? I did this purposely because I wanted to show you guys. Look when you squeeze it. Do you see that? See how that totally collapsed? All the cell walls are collapsing and it's turning dark. That is overwatering. That's no good. And that is because I put this open callus, this open wound after I plucked it, on wet soil right away. And that's what happens when you put these on wet soil before this dries out. Now these were already dry when we put them on here. This was a leaf that was kind of falling off of my succulent, so we're just propagating that. But all these leaves were done the same way. So we pulled them off. This is from my black knight. So this is a black knight succulent, and these were all propagated by the leaves. All we did was, let's see if we can show ya, twist it off. That's it. And you can see there's another one that came off with a baby that was growing out of it. So that's kind of crazy. It's got a baby on it that was growing. It must have been bumped into, and the baby started growing. Because when these are bumped into, sometimes I do it purposely. Like I'll move this leaf and break it half of the way so the baby grows out, and then I get a baby out of the side, which is pretty crazy. But I love these little black knights, and they propagate really easy. So after I pluck that leaf, you want to let it sit on a counter, dry tray, wherever, not sunlight, no sunlight, for at least 48 hours to let this end callus. You want a nice clean break, and then once this end callouses in 24 to 48 hours, you can then either leave it on the counter for another week and you'll start getting babies and roots, which that's how I did these. I wanted to show you just leaving them on the counter, you get babies and roots starting to show. They don't need sunlight when they're this stage. They actually grow a lot faster out of sunlight in direct bright light at this stage with just leaves. And when they start getting roots, then I know I can put them in some soil and I can start soaking that soil all the way through to the bottom. Now, I only propagate in these little trays because you don't want these little leaves here sitting in a big tray of water. So this is pretty thin, this tray, and that's why I picked it, so it dries out pretty fast. And this I gotta water maybe once every 3 days. You give it a really good soak. It's already wet, so we're not really gonna water, but I just soak it all the way through, give it a nice water till it runs out of the bottom, and I know I'm good to go for at least another 3 or 4 days with that. And that's all gonna depend. This drying and watering schedule, guys, that you're gonna be on for your succulents, it's all gonna depend on what's going on in your climate, how big of a container they're in, what type of succulent it is. The bigger the leaves your succulent are on the succulent, the longer it's going to take to dry out. So this is edemia that I showed you guys the other day from inconsistent watering. And that's because this black knight is so susceptible to overwatering. I just ignore it and then I water it and then I ignore it again. So I made a little arrangement out of these ghosties and stuff. These were all propagations. This was not, and these were not. I bought these from the store, and you can see just how big these leaves are. These are little California sunsets, and I love these. I think they're Paragesi, I want to say. Paragesi, I want to say, something like that. But that's a ghostie right here, and it's stretched out. It's stretching, and you can see these aren't, because these require different light. So this requires part sun to part shade. These can tolerate like 6 hours of sunlight, 7 hours of sunlight, and do absolutely great. They turn red if they get more sunlight than that. And then this ghostie really requires 8. It really requires full sun, and it's just winter time now. It's growing indoors. This is my indoor planter, actually. So California sunsets grow great in the house. Eastern facing window they're in, and I'm gonna cut this. We're gonna take this cutting, just like we're taking a leaf propagation. We're gonna cut this. We did it to my black knight. We're gonna let that callus over. The bigger the stem is, guys, when you're taking cuttings, the bigger the stem is, the longer it's gonna take to callus. Once that end hardens off and calluses all the way, you can then plant it in some dry soil and only water when you start to see roots, which is gonna be after you take a cutting. Roots usually take, or a leaf propagation, it usually takes a good week or two for roots to start to show. And then if you have a little cutting like this, you can give it a tug. So tug on it a little bit, pull up, and if you feel some, some tension on it, you know that it is rooted enough. You know it's starting to root, so don't pull it out. Then you can go ahead and give some water. Since this black knight, I haven't really watered it, I will go ahead and give it just a little bit, and that's all I water my black knight. Once every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so, even longer in the winter time. The winter time, a lot of my succulents are going dormant, so they're not going to need much water. And the bigger the leaves, the less water they're going to need. If they're really plump, like these are, they're not lacking water, they're not mushy, they're not deflated, they are so plump. Look at this. That's how you take it off. You just peel it right off. Look how plump that is. Now I want to show you. You see when you squeeze it, it's not collapsing. Look how firm that is, guys. I am squeezing the heck out of this. It is not breaking. It's not mushy like that one is. So look at this. This is mushy. This is overwatered. That is not. This is perfect. It's nice and firm, and that's a great leaf to either propagate, or you can throw it away if you don't want to propagate. But why not? Why not propagate, right? And you can tell by the leaves. So when they start deflating on the bottom, they'll start deflating on the bottom and then move up to the top, just like this. So this is normal leaf death right here. This is what you want to see. That is totally normal. They'll start deflating, and that's how you know you're doing a good job at watering. Here's one deflated. It's not overwatered. Here's another one deflated, not overwatered. You can see it's wrinkly. And then I want to show you this one. So you can see how thin this one is compared. We're going to take a big one to this one. So look at these up close. See how thin that front one is compared to this back one? That's how you can tell that they're deflating. They just deflate a little bit. They start to wrinkle a little. They're not mushy. So if you squeeze them, they shouldn't be turning a color. See? They should not be turning color when you squish them. And that's how you know you're doing a good job. So then you know you're good to keep that watering schedule. If they are deflating, now your babies. When your babies start growing, guys, and getting big, for these babies to finish them up, once you lay your propagations on the tray, you can start soaking your pots all the way through, let it dry out and stay dry about a good day or two between waterings, and then you can soak your succulent babies again. These are going to need a lot more water than those, and you can see that it's falling apart because it needs more water. There's no root system on these. They stalled out on me. I forgot about them. They were kind of underneath in a tray. And look, this is due to, this is not overwatering. This is underwatering. It has a nice healthy white root, but it didn't have enough roots on it to be taking up the water. So if your succulent is underwatered and you do not have roots, or your roots are rotted out on your succulent and your leaves are deflated, I would not recommend doing water therapy or watering until you leave this guy in dry soil until you get a good established root system on there. And then you know it has a root system when you can pick it up and just tug it a little bit and check on it. And then when you know you got a good root system like this one, you can start soaking that pot all the way through. And that's what'll happen. This one was just like that one. It was falling apart. It was deflated. And I fixed it. I just let it sit in here in dry soil. And then I watered in about a week. I know you're going to want to water these little guys. But if you water a succulent that has rotted roots or has brown roots, it's going to be sitting in that water and it's not able to take it up because the roots are damaged. So wait a few weeks and then you know you can go ahead and water again. Just remember, the bigger the leaf, the less water you're going to need. Keep all your succulents. These all stay in a good 7 hours of sunlight a day. I soak all these pots all the way through. We just soaked all these guys through. And that's it. These are all them little babies growing up. And that's how they're going to look when they get done. And you know you can start soaking your pots all the way through. I got a bunch of different sizes in here. But when they get this big. When they get that big, guys, you can start soaking them all the way through. This way, you know, if you're spraying your soil, misting, like I do to these, you want to mist your leaves first in a pot if they're like this. If they're in a big, deep dish, you only want to mist your leaves. You don't want to soak them because this is going to take a long time to dry out. So I only mist these and water this about that far down, quarter of the way down the pot. And I know these will have enough water. You don't want these sitting in all that water because it'll be sitting in there for about a week without roots taking that up. But when they get a little big, when they get like this, you want to start soaking them all the way through because they're going to start to get shallow roots if you don't. If you continue to spray when they're this size and you don't soak your pots all the way through, what's going to happen is you're going to get shallow roots like this little guy. This was rotted, so I left it alone. You can see it's really deflated and it needs water. Look how crazy wrinkly that is. But it's just starting to get a root system, so I just watered this morning and it's going to suck up that water, that nice water, and get big and plump up on me. So I don't have to worry about that one. But you want to make sure you start soaking your pots all the way down, because if you don't, the roots are going to stay up at the top and they don't have to go very far to search for water. You want to soak this pot all the way through so these roots can travel down and look for that water when that soil dries out. You want them to definitely be searching for that water because that's how you get a really good established root system on them and just make them healthier in the long run. So I hope this helps you guys in the best way possible to take care of your succulents, no matter what you're doing with them, making planters, you know, making arrangements, propagating. We have all kinds of succulents here, and I love helping you guys. So I know it's really tricky. If you guys have any questions or, you know, need any help, please let me know. I'd love to help you guys in any way possible. And we're going to do a video on this one here, these stretched out ones, on how I fix them. We fixed this, this black knight here. We cut it because it was stretched and it's starting to grow compact up here. And we're going to actually cut it again because this is so elongated. So we're going to cut it again. But keep an eye out for that video. We're going to do these together. This one too. We're going to get it out of this pot. And then we're going to eventually cut her because you can see how much she's stretching. So if your succulents look like this should be rosette. So this should be compact like this. This is the way it should be growing. All them leaves close together, compact, nice rosette shape like this. But it's not. It's not growing compact because it's not getting enough sun. So the ones with the powder mean that they really require a lot more sun than the ones without the coating. The powder is basically a sunscreen for them. Ghosty, like these, they require a lot of sun because they have that coating on them. That usually means more sun, guys. And then that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to go over today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video in the best way possible, and have a great day today. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for being here with me. Check out this little baby before you go. We're getting a little baby on our Calancho Flapjack. So that's so neat. Check her out. So happy. They are really happy, and you know, the thinner the leaf, the more water they're going to need. So this shouldn't be bending, this Crassula. They should not be bending. I just broke that, but these leaves should not be bending like this. So this means water. Please give me water. Look, they are wrinkly. So we're going to water this again, and these I only water maybe once a month, because look how big the leaves are. They're not thick, but they're big. So this is only going to need water like once a month, especially in the winter. Bye-bye.